Alright you guys, so let's talk about how to cover acne up. There's a couple things, I don't have breakouts right now, but I can still show you how to cover up acne. So there's a couple things you need to remember. When you have acne, a lot of people think that you have to pile on a ton of makeup. And that is just not true. Now, if you have say huge patches of acne, maybe cystic acne, things that are raised, maybe even things that have a little maybe open sores, you're gonna actually wanna stay away from makeup if you have open sores. But if you cannot, and maybe if you have just a few little pimples, or if you have a lot, this same technique will go across the board. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need a green concealer, and you're going to need a lightweight foundation, and then you're going to need a heavier formula of a foundation, okay? So I like to use a green concealer. This is the Makeup Forever Corrector palette, and this is in number 1, and this is the Camouflage Cream palette. I like this palette a lot. There's obviously tons of color correcting things out on the market right now, so you pick the one that you feel the most comfortable with. But I like this one because a little bit goes a long way, it's a thicker formula, and it easily blends with your foundation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of this green, and since it is a cream formula, I'm just going to warm it up on the back of my hand, just kind of work it into the skin. Alright, now, I use my finger for this first part. Say I have a blemish right here, right here, right here, right here. What you're going to do is you're going to dab on the green concealer on all the places that you have your acne, and usually acne is red. And so that's why we're using a green concealer, is because green counteracts red. So you're going to want to use just the green in just the places that you need it. So you don't need to put a green primer all over your face. You just need to put on it in sections where you need it. Okay, so say that is where I need it. I'm going to take my finger and press this in. And you want to take your time to really get this working into the skin. And you are going to see it on the skin still. That's okay. And you're going to want to do this technique until it blends a little bit seamlessly into the skin. Now you can still see it, and that's okay because our foundation will cover it. And you just want to keep doing this on all over the places where you have those blemishes. And I'm going to do it where I have redness because it does the exact same thing. Alright, so there you go. You can see the green still on our skin. Now what you want to do is you want to take your lightweight foundation and you're going to apply that all over the face. I like to use a beauty blender because you don't want to use your fingers or a brush because we don't want to disturb anything that we just put on. We just are going right over it. Now if you have raised acne, unfortunately, makeup will not cover texture, things that you can actually physically see that have dimension. But it will cover at least the color and give you a little bit of confidence that your skin is looking a little more flawless. And you're just gonna do a light application all over your skin of your foundation. This is not a heavy coverage. That is super important here. To use a lightweight coverage for your first application, because the rest of your face doesn't need full coverage, right? Because we want the parts of the skin that don't have acne to really glow, shine through, and look like skin. Alright, so for the most part, our green is concealed with our lightweight foundation, and now we're gonna take a heavier coverage foundation. This is a stick foundation. This is by Tom Ford. It doesn't matter, but you want to go in with a heavier coverage foundation. Now, what I did was I had an old knockoff beauty blender. And what I did was I just tore this part off. because I want a textured side to my sponge. Reason being is when you use a textured side with a full coverage foundation, it gets into all of the grooves that you have when you have kind of acne that is raised. A beauty blender will do a pretty good job, but you really should go with something that has some texture. So even those white sponges at the drugstore, just tear them in half and you can use that as well. So I'm just going to take a full coverage foundation and I'm going to put it on my sponge, just like this. And I'm just going to stipple this wherever I have acne. And this you want to do with a light hand, and you really want to make sure that you go over and over and over this, because those grooves are going to get in between that texture and really give you that maximum coverage that you're looking for. And we're going to leave the rest of our face alone wherever we have where we don't have acne. We're not going to use this technique. And so what you want to do is you want to sit here and do this for a little while so it's really blended and pushed into the skin. Alright, so now that you have a desired coverage wherever you have acne, it's time to set it. A lot of people actually use a full coverage powder over this. I feel that it can look a little cakey. So I'm going to take a loose powder on the back of my beauty blender. It's a damp beauty blender. And I'm going to push this all over the face and set that foundation. It's really important that you set your foundation when you've done any foundation, but specifically with this technique, because you definitely don't want what we just did to move. And now you can go ahead and finish your concealer, because you see I just set this area. I just don't want this to move or be disturbed. So I'm gonna finish my concealer, my blush, my bronzer, all of that good stuff, and we'll come back to the finishing touches. All right, so everything is on. Now, the last important step when you are doing makeup to cover a certain kind of flaw is to make sure you set it. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know that I love a good hydrating mist, but this is not the time to use a hydrating mist. This is the time to use a setting mist. I'm going to use my Scandinavia. This is the makeup finishing spray, and I'm going to give this more of a general spray all over the face, but then a little more attention right where we kind of went a little heavier with our coverage. And you just want to give that a second to kind of dry down, and you should be good to go. All right, my acne sufferers, this is what you want to do to cover up any acne that you might have. And remember, it is so important for you to wash your face at night, wash your face in the morning. And I'm going to be doing another video on things to keep in mind, products I like for my acne sufferers, and all of that good stuff. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share with somebody that you think might love this video. And don't forget, you are so loved. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah!